morning, everybody. My name's Lubi Thomas, and I'm a curator as well as an artist. And this talk is about my journey into the world of STEAM. So it's about the wonders, the challenges, and what cooking with STEAM at QUT and the Cube is for us. So first up, one of those challenges, language. STEAM. So what exactly does that stand for? It stands for Science, Tech, Engineering, Art, and Maths. And as this Rhode Island quote shows you, it's really a good encapsulation of the idea, and that is that the goal is to foster true innovation that comes with combining the mind of a scientist or technologist with that of an artist and a designer. So really STEAM is all about a meeting of the minds and creating a whole-of-brain team. So here are a few exemplars. First up, Stellark, and Stellark an ear on arm. So Stellark's original idea was that he wanted an ear grafted to the side of his head, and it was going to be a quarter of the size of his other ears. Strangely enough, no one would actually do that for him. So he moved the idea to his arm. And he had an ear-shaped biocompatible scaffold made and had that inserted into his arm. And then he left his fibrous cells to grow in and through that structure and actually create the ear. During surgery, a microphone was inserted and the surgeon was able to actually speak into his ear, and through a wireless system, other people could hear what he was saying. This actually lasted for about a week, and then unfortunately there was an infection and it had to be taken out. But what's really important is that this wasn't a disaster, but rather it was a kind of discovery into possibilities of what could happen. This project is 12 years old, and he's still waiting for the advances in tech and science to actually turn that concept into reality. So this project, as with all of Stellark's work, is about looking at the body and pushing and exploring the body structure. So he's interested in pushing the body structure, relocating parts of it to other places, rewiring it for alternative functions. He's really deconstructing our evolutionary architecture and maybe making us truly digitally enabled in the 21st century. So this thinking isn't actually new for Stellark, and he's been considering the body and working with his body since the 70s. So he's famous for his suspension works, through to his third hand and the exoskeleton works that he's been using over the years. So Stellark's really interested in prosthetics, not as replacements, but as additioning and enhancements to his body. So next up is Symbiotica. Symbiotica is based in Western Australia, and Oren Katz is the director. So Oren is an artist, and he's interested in the idea of the semi-living world of bioengineered materials. And here's a little miniature jacket that he made. It's a leather jacket, and it's called Victimless Leather. It's been grown in a small bioreactor, and it's made up of mice skin cells and human bone cells. And using these mice and human cells has practical reasons to actually create that work, but also it has philosophical implications. Katz's research is interested in the idea of making semi-living objects, and these objects kind of upset and critique the ideas and the established hierarchy of scientific classification, such as something's living or dead, it's human or it's inhuman, it's organic or it's inorganic. You get the gist. This is Neil. Now, Neil is the first official cyborg on the planet. It had to happen sometime. So he was born without being able to see colour. Everything was grayscale in his world. However, in 2004, he actually went to a talk by Adam, who's a technologist, and he did a talk about cybernetics, after which Neil went up to Adam and said, hey, I have this issue, let's see if we can make something together. So this was a collaboration between a technologist and an artist, and they created the iBorg. What this iBorg allows him to do is that he's able to hear the colour spectrum. In fact, he can hear colour that we can't see. So his whole practice now is based on this kind of technological enhancement to his body. You're probably wondering, how do you actually get to be a cyborg officially? Well, you need official recognition. And Neil achieved this a few years ago with his passport. It took him years to actually achieve this, but finally they allowed a passport photograph with his cyborg included, and that created an official document. Obviously, unsurprisingly enough, he is the co-founder of the Cyborg Foundation, and their mission is to help people become cyborgs, promote the use of cybernetics as part of the body, and also, support and defend cyborg rights. This is Ars Electronica and the Future Lab. As you can see, the Future Lab has its sights firmly focused on tomorrow and beyond. The Future Lab achieves rigor in its research through this kind of transdisciplinary practice site. They no longer talk about discipline-specific ideas. It is just one melting pot. So for the Future Lab, their work is really based on this distributed knowledge system, and that allows them to really think, research, and create with freedom that is not born out of any other way of doing things. They have also been doing this for years, and it allows for true discovery and inquiry in the things that they achieve. So all of these practices and places have been working in that nexus of art, science and society for years. They've been they're examples, and they've been testing and evolving inquiry that seeks out new ingredients and cooking methods. And for me, they were real inspirations when I started thinking about the cube. So, the story so far. You've all seen the cube, or you will see the cube today. I started thinking about the cube at the beginning of 2012. And I started thinking about how the cube might support the intentions that were embedded in the design of the building that the cube would live in. So those intentions, as I see them, are to engage with new audiences, offer new types of learning experiences, support new collaborations, seeking new pathways to thinking and creating about what innovation might be. Really, it's from convergent thinking into this idea of a distributed intelligence framework. So STEAM is actually the outcome of this intent, although I'm not sure it's the one that we thought we were up to when we started this process. As a pedagogy, STEAM is a learning process that creates this opportunity for one to take experiences, learn from them, and then apply them to something new. And that's how true innovation happens. So how have we been cooking with STEAM? So first up, for the cube to actually be able to support those intentions, I needed to think about the cube as something far more than this digital object. The cube is a philosophy, it's an opportunity, it's a concept by which we can actually create a lot of other activities. And so the first 6 months, we've been really kind of figuring out what our STEAM ingredients might be. So there's been talking robots, there's been cube bites, there's been Lego education, cube vid, cube kids, STEAM stream. There's also been collaboration and urban. So as you can see from some of these images, it's really been about everything we do is underpinned by the idea of STEAM, and it's all about engaging with a wide demographic. It's intergenerational sharing and learning. It's about collaboration and self-directed discovery. It's about supporting people to learn new things and to teach each other. We've been supported by some awesome Megatronic tools that we've been lucky enough to get involved with, and that's all the way through from Lego through to paints and conductive paints and pens. We've also been seeking out and developing the Brains Bank so we can actually offer out and deliver these ideas. And we've been supporting those people into that kind of STEAM ethos, which is about facilitation rather than teaching. So at a slower pace, the digital projects. Well, actually, the pace hasn't been slow at all. It's just been all behind the screens. So obviously, these first few months has been the cube's birth, and people have been very busy on working on how to actually do the command and control around the cube. But importantly, we're starting to think about the next generation of projects, and we've learned a lot from the launch projects that were started in January this year. So it's really been focusing on, what is public interaction in a public domain at a really large digital scale? The importance of easy entry points for people. What is effective visual language and within this kind of context? And also, what are the kind of different audience types and categories and how they interact and respond to the digital space? So clearly the cube is projects that exist only through that STEAM approach of thinking and creating. So my big kind of digital project questions that I've been mulling over is how do I support the developers to widen their idea of design thinking, content generation possibilities, and user interface interactions and experiences at this scale? This really is digital at a large scale and in a public domain. So again, it's all about seeking new pathways through an all-of-mind team and developing new ways of creating work. Now, I'm not saying that this has been an easy journey. We've definitely had our challenges, and one of the biggest has been communication. So it's where visual thinkers, like myself, meet verbal thinkers, and where in the mind map is actually a bowl of spaghetti to some people. And so we've been working with different kind of cognitive processes, and we've been seeking connections and new language and communication systems. The one thing that STEAM requires is that you actually give up your convergent and divergent cognitive mindsets, and that you have to seek beyond those discipline norms. It's about actively seeking new thinking and communication structures. It's this distributed intelligence framework. STEAM goes way deeper than just the delivery point. If we ever thought that we could get away with just putting out some awesome workshops, we were wrong. It has to become an embedded attitude into the host community, and that's something that's really been taking traction in these last few months. Now, I am other people, and all the people that I work with, we're not alone in this communications challenge, and I hope that you as the audience may well find yourself experiencing that phenomenon today. All I can say is that when you find yourself having that what the moment, you are probably at the nexus of art, science and society, and have fun with it. Thank you very much.